Yo, 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 yo. Las líneas que parten el mundo. Yo, el meridiano.
Que sepa el mundo que soy de orgullo moreno. Ande donde ande, no olvido de dónde vengo. Traigo la sangre de un indio todoterreno. En fuego como un 10 son los pies de Cuauhtémoc. Que sepa el mundo que soy de orgullo moreno. Ande donde ande, no olvido de dónde vengo. Traigo la sangre de un indio todoterreno. En fuego como un 10 son los pies de Cuauhtémoc.
En una simple frase te explicaré cómo es mi gente. Si maltratas a un carnal, te devora la serpiente emplumada, va en picada, desquiciada el águila real. Le arrancará la cabeza a quien dañó su nopal.
Somos un ejército cautivo esperando la señal pa' comerme al enemigo. Huitzilopochtli, dime si es rival o amigo. Que del ejército mexica tus guerreros siguen vivos.
Soy un monstruo con la pluma, mis rimas envenenadas. Hoy me llaman Quetzalcóatl, soy la serpiente emplumada. Dueño de la tempestad y del tempo está muy claro. Un diluvio de verdad, en la instrumental soy claro.
Certero en mi disparo, y Luis Caminos, el flechador del cielo. Pero con rimas, cultura de mi tierra que nunca se acaba. Con águilas y estrellas que vuelan desde la nave. Que sepa el mundo que soy de orgullo moreno. Ande donde ande, no olvido de dónde vengo. Traigo la sangre de un indio todoterreno. En fuego como un 10 son los pies de Cuauhtémoc. Que sepa el mundo que soy de orgullo moreno. Ande donde ande, no olvido de dónde vengo. Traigo la sangre de un indio todoterreno. En fuego como un 10 son los pies de Cuauhtémoc.
Como aquí, bro, te juro no existen dos. Si voy a creer en alguien, solo va a ser en mi Dios. Yo me encomiendo a mi madre, que me cuida y me protege entre sierras. Amor de tonas y playa, sí, amor de mi madre tierra.
El que nunca falla, el de sangre maya. El que va dejando huellas al que buscan y no hallan. El que da la talla, el que triunfa y calla. Al que copian y se basan, soy el calendario maya. Que sepa el mundo que soy de orgullo moreno. Ande donde ande, no olvido de dónde vengo. Traigo la sangre de un indio todoterreno. En fuego como un 10 son los pies de Cuauhtémoc. Que sepa el mundo que soy de orgullo moreno. Ande donde ande, no olvido de dónde vengo. Traigo la sangre de un indio todoterreno. En fuego como un 10 son los pies de Cuauhtémoc. Yo soy guerrero de orgullo moreno. Mis dioses son verdaderos. Tlacozontli es el que cuida mis caminos y senderos. Mi tierra pinta paisajes de autor, la naturaleza es una obra de amor donde el artista se expresa. Mira y aprecia el arte de Xochipilli, mi diosa de la belleza.
La guerra, el arte tienen cercanos roces. Netzahualcóyotl, rey con tintes de dioses. Un guerrero, poeta y muy pocos lo conocen. Hoy te lo recuerdo yo, el Sensontle y 400 voces.
Guerreros y leyendas que la historia a veces calla. Dioses de un ayer, de un hoy y de un mañana. Yo me encomiendo a Cuauhtémoc y Pachita es quien me sana. En mi sangre sigue viva la cultura mexicana. Que sepa el mundo que soy de orgullo moreno. Ande donde ande, no olvido de dónde vengo. Traigo la sangre de un indio todoterreno. En fuego como un 10 son los pies de Cuauhtémoc. Que sepa el mundo que soy de orgullo moreno. Ande donde ande, no olvido de dónde vengo. Traigo la sangre de un indio todoterreno. En fuego como un 10 son los pies de Cuauhtémoc.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Quiero pensar, pero no puedo, no. El ruido en la ciudad está consumiendo, wow. Quieren pensar, sin ni siquiera estar al mando. Tanta publicidad subliminal te está matando. Les cuesta decidir por sí mismos cuál es su bando. Publican sonrisas con el corazón llorando. Quieren brillar, pero sin tener que valerse de tener sus ideas propias. Los veo a todos igual, solo son la réplica de la imitación de una triste copia. Obedece, la vida es un suspiro y envejeces. Te dejas distraer por estupideces y pierdes el eje. Te duele por dentro, entonces te creces, pero aceptas mucho menos de lo que mereces.
¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. Conserva tu juicio y tu intuición, más activos que el que lucha por lo suyo y no se rinde. Yo ya sé bien cuál es mi misión, y es contarte que el mal por su propio pie pronto se extingue. No caigas bajo su control, pues por la televisión es normal que mal lo pinten. Tú mantente firme en conexión con la fuente de creación, vivirás siempre de fin de. Dios abre los ojos, dime lo que ves. A tus propios hijos matándose por billetes. Niños por cada 2 por 3. Pa' unos es bendición, con otros por su causa pequen. Y yo que intento ser un ser crístico, voy bendiciendo hasta los diablos. Piensan que es cierto el mensaje típico. Dicen que invento lo del engaño, y mientras lucho contra mis errores, demonios escucho, me ofrecen soluciones. Pero sé que hay un ángel que quiere que mejore. Me dice haz un trabajo interno antes de que lo ignores, antes que otra vez llores y se llenen los mares de pena y de dolores, ya que en mi mente no caben. La paz no va en un sobre, somos algo importante. Nunca te revelaste y por eso no lo sabes. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar.
Me desperté tan cansado, me sentía mal herido de todo lo que he pasado. No me quita lo aprendido, por dentro me he perdonado, pero casi no me olvido. Me desperté tan cansado, me sentía mal herido de todo lo que he pasado. No me quita lo aprendido, por dentro me he perdonado, pero casi no me olvido, no. Todos repiten lo que dice el referente. Discursos vacíos lejos de ser coherentes. De lo que no sabes será mejor que no inventes. Que investigues y no te dejes lavar la mente.
¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar?
Shalom, shalom. As you can see, even after going through the links and testing, making sure that it runs smoothly, it still does a hiccup. All right, family. So again, that's why I try to do as much as I can on the back end, but it doesn't work. Anyhow, give me a second. Appreciate y'all being here. Shalom, Brick. Shalom, Vladimir. And shalom, I guess, scattered Israelite, if you're still there. I know you were posting stuff earlier. Appreciate you guys being here. And you that'll be here later on or watch it later. Appreciate y'all checking in. All praises to the Most High for that. And obviously, man, that this channel still continues. Okay. These are the times where we have to, if you haven't already, you got to really establish your roots, man. If you guys haven't been digging deep in that dirt, getting rid of those clods, you better start now. Because there is a secret to this madness, to what we're going through. There's technically a way to do this, okay? And one of the ways that it's not being properly taught, we see it very clear. It's very blunt to those that have the ears and eyes, okay? Because we were technically given secrets, hints, through parables regarding what exactly is required in this walk. Me and a brother earlier were talking about this today, and it's considered just something unconditional. All right, I'm gonna tell you that right now. But anyhow, before I get to that point, because that's gonna be something I'm gonna mention in the end, okay? Hold on a second. Notes for myself later on. All right, so let me read that real quick. Yahusha said to call no man father, but only one Father in heaven, and he's your Father and the only Rabbi I know walks on the water. And it's true. Matter of fact, so this is a side point, but I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that they teach in these camps, and again, and I'm not targeting just camps, this is all for any Christian that is still believing in the Christian doctrine, regardless of the image, family. It's not about the image at this point. Okay. Oh, by the way, my camera's it's disconnected, so you're not gonna hit camera today. It's not about that, fam. Okay. It's really deeper than this. Seriously. But let's begin in this class. I hope you guys can have, maybe hopefully your children are gonna be watching, because I am going to bring some information. I'm gonna be somewhat graphic. I need you guys to really absorb what I'm about to present to you, okay? Because a lot of times when we read this history, and then we try to read the scriptures, we don't visualize. You see, and this is our job. This is our history, okay? So our job is our history. You brothers and sisters, specifically you brothers of who it belongs this book to, you are naturally lawyers, meaning that you have to understand the book back in like the back of your hand. You mean I mean is you have to know the history, how that applies to now, be in the past, and what may come about in the future. Give me a second. I don't like this music, man. It keeps pausing on. Come on, get off. Hey. All that. Get back. Come on. You suck. Hold on a second. I'm trying to put some drums with beats, and it never seems to want to do that for me. Hold on. See, but it does other things, like dumbass commercials. Sorry, oops, excuse me. Didn't mean to cuss. All right, I'm gonna keep that in mind, fam. I'm gonna keep that in mind, because I'm gonna have my children also listening. Not that I never watch what I say there, but I kind of want the younger generation to start seeing these things. These are not gonna be taught to us in the schools. Okay, they're not gonna bring this to our attention. Never will they bring this to our attention. Hey, shalom, Shah, I believe. All right, so let me read something to y'all real quick. Okay, so first of all, as you know, man, I have a lot of material, fam, and I don't say it in a boastful manner. What I mean is, sometimes it's difficult for me to like, what should I bring out? What point should I bring? There's a lot of material, lots of books to share with y'all, and the topic today is basically dogs of war. Okay, the topic itself should be self-explanatory. So a lot of these books have snippets of information. So I figured, you know what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start limiting the books that I'm taking out, right? And then just kind of like, because this is gonna be a prolonged process, right? This isn't a race. This is a marathon, fam. So we're gonna stick to the point. I'm gonna bring up 2 books. Obviously, there's much more material, and I have another book like actual like this one. This is like the brief account, right? Not the original book. The original book, you actually can't download it. It downloads certain pages, not the entire book. I have the book, but I didn't want to take pictures of each page, and it's a hassle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you this, and I'm gonna show you pictures. Okay. So now, this is one of the books. Now, as you know, I always bring up current news, I could say, before I get started. So I want to bring this up because I know that a lot of our brothers that may not be in the understanding of who we are according to the Bible, right? They may not know the understanding of the scriptures. They may not really have a grasp yet, but they are searching. And these brothers obviously are battling with some of these wabos that really believe that they're the people of this land. And I quite frankly I could wrap my mind around you being completely lost, but then when you make up information and then it's sufficient enough to go against it, you better question it. Because in this world, in this society, we are dealt by principalities and powers. Think about this, family. What is available for us to see, right? That is very clear, what nobody blocks it. I gotta question it. But it's all those other ones that kind of mention things to you and are like, makes you think, man. You can't always go with the norm. So anyhow, this is interesting that this comes from like the way on top, or the way top, or to the way above. They're bringing out pictures that have been recently brought out regarding our people. Let's just listen in to my point. All right, it's in Spanish, but hey, it is what it is. All right, let's listen in for a little bit.
En el siglo VI, pero en lo que es el periodo clásico maya. Sin embargo, Calakmul ya había sido habitado 3 siglos antes de nuestra era. O sea que a esos 1400 hay que sumarle 900. Estaríamos hablando de 2300 años de la existencia de Calakmul. ¿Por qué no pones la pintura de 300 años antes?
He's about to show a picture from 2,300 years ago, 300 years prior to the Messiah. Okay, let's go.
Cristo, de Calakmul, que son 2300 años. Esto es de hace 2300 años. Con la mujer del vestido transparente.
Pay attention to the pictures, fam. And you see this this sister over here. Light skin, right? All right, let me let it play. Let's go.
Mires, la belleza, el arte. 2300 años. Regresando. Los europeos que nos traen la civilización, que nos civilizaron, según la historia oficial y occidental y colonizante, 500 años. Oficial y occidental y colonizante, 500 años. Y esto 2300 años lleva. Esto es un templo que cubrieron con las nuevas, entre comillas, pirámides donde estuviste, ¿sí?, que son del siglo VI de nuestra era, está abajo. Yo entré y hay mascarones con estuco y estos murales. Esto es una joya. Esto no lo tienen en otras partes. Esto es un arte. Miren, todo esto. Eso es lo que está. Lo cubrieron, lo cuidaron, lo protegieron. Esto pasa también en Teotihuacán, como se le quiera decir. También debajo del templo del sol, de la luna, hay vestigios de culturas anteriores, de civilizaciones anteriores. Se funda.
Now, I share this with y'all because this is deep, fam. Our history is deep. So now, look, what I want to make sure that you guys understand is that unfortunately, when you lose your history and you go back to it, there is a part of the history that's going to be very painful, fam. That is going to want you to have hate, anger, resentment. And I'm going to bring up an important part at the end of the class that contradicts, that tells us not to be that way. Unlike what we're seeing in these streets. So what I'm trying to do is I'm washing away all of my bad habits as I'm understanding more of the scriptures, because we're ready to hit the street. We're almost ready to hit the streets, fam. That's something that I have in the Most High Spirit and it's putting upon me. But again, there's some things that I still got to wash away that I'm still need to understand. Oh, hey, shalom, Mesh. Hey, by the way, I never got your text, bro. Okay, just giving you a heads up. Let me read that. His previous Secretary of State, which he just let go to run next election, said the same to fool Kennedy, that we had knew the cycle of the earth 1,000 years prior to the Galileo, Europe in dark, man. All praises, bro. And matter of fact, when I was looking for some material, Mexica, I was hoping that you would have reached out, because I was looking for some stuff in Spanish, man. I'm having a hard time finding these materials in Spanish, and I have some names of books that you might be able to help me. But anyways, that's another point. All right. With that all said, so there's a particular part of our history that we have to learn and experience, and it's going to be painful, family, and it's going to hurt. And man, it's called bitter wisdom. Okay. And our people did go through this. All right. This is no joke. Now, why am I, showing you that aspect, right? So I showed you particular things that now AMLO's actually posting, like, hey, listen, we weren't civilized, like y'all saying, all of a sudden, because you guys came, we looked a certain way. No, we were a mixture of color. Just like the brother said earlier, where are you at, Scattered Israelite? The original Hebrews, Jews looked like white people, some tannish skin color, some were dark skin. I mean, I don't know about white people exactly, but I know what you mean in regards to the referencing of color. Okay, where I am a believer on that. I am a true believer on that. All right. So now I'm going to tell you something. This the other day came to me. Somebody was basically calling us, Mongolians, right? And I'm sitting and I'm talking to my wife about it. And quite frankly, I'm going to tell you this, family. I can't sit here and tell you or them, yeah, you're right, they're Mongolians, because they may look a little bit more on the Asian side. Because you want to know something, fam? They were here. And they went through the curses here. So I'm not going to say, oh, because you look like that, you're not our people. No, man, the Spirit's going to bear witness. And Lord willing that they are. Because I can't imagine having to go through that. Of what we're going to see. The horror that we experienced. So anyways, bringing this whole thing about the way we look like, right? So now I want to show you this. This really didn't really surprise me. But as you can see, there's an agenda, family. And I'm going to tell you something. Now, I don't know how much trouble I can get for saying this. But I found enough documentation to where this is going to lead me into really seeing that and we talked about this masonry and all that stuff, right? But I have an angle that has given me the window to see a particular group called the Boulets and masonry and fully involved. So now, I find it interesting. The reason I say that, because look at what these the people in Egypt are dealing with. Now they got to do videos to push back on these particular tribes. You see, like, the thing about this class today, family, you're going to see that these two heads that I've been talking about, they're going to be very clear in our face. This is what I was saying earlier. Like I have a lot of material, but I can't squeeze it in. So I have a book that supports what I'm saying, but I'm not going to bring that in today. I'm going to bring other material that'll help us understand. So let's continue with this walk, because this is a slicing and dicing. This is a systematic destruction of a doctrine. I am going to slowly sever this ignorance. And again, I'm going to do it with love. And y'all know what I mean by that word. With the scriptures. Listen to these guys.
Дикая львица, ты моя царица, сок твой марихуана меня зачаровала. Дикая львица, ты моя царица, нужен алкоголь, но же выпьем за любовь. Снова ругать скандалы, на руки мои ты надела кандалы. Где пропадаю, ты ночью гадала, а я с друзьями сгораю до талого. Гала подходит, похоже, с ума. Сумма в карманах у нас немала. Малая смотрит всю ночь на меня. Два виски с колы, детка моя. Из клуба ночью на машине тебе заберу. И не сказав родителям, на море увезу. Мы будем пить вино, потом пойдем смотреть кино. А после отвезу к утру тебя к себе домой. Царица, сок мой марихуана меня зачаровала. Дикая львица, ты моя царица, нужен алкоголь, но же выпьем за любовь. Снова ругать скандалы, на руки мои ты надела кандалы. Где пропадаю, ты ночью гадала, а я с друзьями сгораю до талого. Гала подходит, похоже, с ума. Сумма в карманах у нас немала. Малая смотрит всю ночь на меня. Два виски с колы, детка моя. Из клуба ночью на машине тебе заберу. И не сказав родителям, на море увезу. Мы будем пить вино, потом пойдем смотреть кино. А после отвезу к утру тебя к себе домой.
Why am I showing this? Because it's becoming very clear to me that this is a war, a psychological war on our people to keep you spiritually asleep. So the more information, the more attacks, the more people they use against the truth, they're gonna come from every direction, family. We got wobbles, we got Hebrew converts, we got other religions that are trying to bring our people in. We got these other guys that are fighting the wobble, saying that we're not even the Hebrews, that we've been here 100,000 years. And all in all this time, this distraction, through all of this distraction, right? There's one thing that is still being asked of you. And there's one thing that the people of the Bible are going to not do. And this is what we're not going to do, okay? Because we're trying to find the truth. I'm not looking for this to fit for an agenda or to fit a narrative. Listen, fam, as I'm reading, it's getting scarier because Mexico and South America is so mixed. It's getting scary, family. Which is why I do see a lot of people. Anyways, I'll leave it like that. But anyways, let's listen to this silliness. I just want to laugh a little bit here. Watch this real quick. I mean, just please, fam, no matter what you do, no matter how desperate you get, just don't do this.
Talk about the greatest Mexican fighter to ever do it, Salvador Sanchez, aka Shaba. I believe that's how you pronounce the nickname they gave him. But what I want to talk about is a few things. One, for him to be a Mexican fighter, he did not fight in the Mexican style at all. This man is one of the most dominant fighters to ever step into a ring. And he was so slick. But he also had that Mexican style in his DNA where he could just sit there and brawl. But he had great footwork, great head movement, great timing. Some of the most beautiful counter punches I've ever. The question that I'd like to ask the Hispanic community is, why does one of the greatest Mexican fighters ever look like the King of Pop? Why does Salvador Sanchez have an afro like the black Michael Jackson? Why does his eyebrows and his nose, his cheekbones, even his build, why does it resemble the King of Pop? For him to be a so-called Mexican fighter. Something is going on here, and I want to get to the bottom of it. So we're going to compare these photos. Look at that. I'm going to go back to Salvador. Look at this man's afro. Look at the facial features. Look at the cheekbones, the nose. It's crazy. Even the eyebrows. This man looks like he could be kin to Michael Jackson. And this brings me to my final point, the point that I've been trying to make. I do not believe that Salvador Sanchez was Mexican. I think that this man is some form of mulatto. I think he's a brother. And the black community, we're claiming him, we're taking him back. Because not only do y'all not appreciate him, but y'all don't really deserve him. All your other great champions, like Jesus Chavez, people like that, Canelo, what's the other one? Oh, Marquez. All of them fighting that Mexican style. But this man could do it all. And it's because he was black. He was black.
Please, family, don't ever do that. And I look at the messages and they're like, dude, anyhow, it's getting crazy. But you see, this is war for your heritage, for you, no matter what. Because listen, family, first of all, I'm thankful. I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm thankful. Hey, shalom, Salome, shalom, Julio. I'm thankful that this is happening. I'm thankful that these heathens did what they did, fam, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here today where we are in regards to our waking up. We needed them. And it's prophesied, like the scriptures say. So let's get into the class. Scriptures talk about this. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 14. Remember, past, present, and future. Prophesy against Jeroboam. You guys know who that is regarding the king. All right. So guess what happens here? Let's go to verse 7. It says, go tell Jeroboam. Here, I'll do with this translation because this is the story. It says here, go and tell Jeroboam that this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says to him. I choose you from among the people and made you the ruler of my people, Israel. I took the kingdom away from David's descendants and gave it to you. But you have not been like my servant David, who was completely loyal to me, obeyed my commands, and did only what I approve of. You have committed far greater sins than those who ruled before you. You have rejected me and have aroused my anger by making idols, metal images to worship. Because of this, I will bring disaster to your dynasty, okay? And I will kill your male descendants, young and old alike. I will get rid of your family. They will be swept away like dung. Listen to this. Any members of your family who die in the city will be eaten by dogs, okay? And who die in open country will be eaten by vultures. The Lord, I, the Lord, have spoken. I, the Lord, have spoken. So the reason this is important, yeah, right? For real, like, I'm glad you got what Mexican boxer had the record, the most championship title. He's like, it's funny, man, because I grew up boxing. My uncle, my brothers, anyways, it doesn't matter. So I know my history. I really studied like old school boxing. And there's absolutely nobody in Mexico that does not honor this man. And by the way, he permed his hair. He doesn't even have curly hair like that. And the reason his nose is like that is because it's broken. This happens in boxing. And he doesn't fight like the black fighters. He has a very good footwork. Yeah, he bounces in and out. Who fights kind of like Marquez, kind of like Finito Lopez. But you see, you if you don't know boxing, you're just gonna see an afro and you're gonna say that's what he looks like. And this is what I want to make sure that we find out today, fam. Regardless of what they look like, afro, curly hair, blonde hair, it doesn't often matter anymore. Because thank God to them, we are finally seeing, because through history, through this pain, it's going to bring you back to value your family, to value your brothers and sisters who suffered. Because when you see them suffer, you're going to know, damn, you're going to stop looking at them like your enemy. You're going to start loving your brethren. That's what you're going to do. That's why these classes are about. It ain't to put hate on you and say, F the white man, F the black man, let's go hurt. No, man, I'm trying to educate you guys, because the love has to be directed towards us now. Now that you know that our people have been doing this, going through this together, then together we help each other. When you see your brother out there selling ice cream cones, paletero, churros, Doritos, right? Elotes, remember that guy? That's what I want you to see. Because their job was to break that apart from us. Today we're going to read what exactly we went through. Deuteronomy 28 today comes alive. And you guys need to understand. Look, I did this video and I'm surprised that it's gotten so many views. I never did that. All right. So watch this. Hopefully, I don't think they'll block me because it's already from like a recorded, right? So it's like vetted, whatever, or processed. But I did one that says no one gets left behind. I understand that that's not going to be possible. I understand that, okay? But honestly, yeah, Mexican brawlers are brawlers, bro. I'm not surprised. Julio, don't doubt it. Hey, but you know what's so funny, bro? Even Julio had an excellent defensive skill. He was in and out of boxer, bro. If you look at Julio for what he is, he was a tremendous boxer. Tremendous boxer. Someone to admire. If you're just in there and you don't know anything about boxing, yeah, it's gonna look like, you know, he just gets in there and punches you and gets punched. Nah, bro, not at all. But anyways, look, I'm gonna leave it this way, fam, because I don't want them to block me. I don't think they will, but I want you to see the visual. All right, look at how they chased us. Pay attention. Maybe put yourselves in those shoes, fam. You got to see your family, your loved ones, your grandmas, your neighbors, tus vecinos, los abuelos, los señores de las esquinas, los trabajadores in the fields. You got to see your people like your brother, or else we'll never get it. You see, pain is the best teacher. And the Father cried by seeing us in pain. But he's like, y'all are hard. You are a hard-headed child, okay, Jacob? You're a hard-headed child. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spank your ass. And it hurts me to see you get hurt. But Lord willing, you come back to me. Just like the two sons, the one that left. Let's go.
recordings just got better.
So I want to make sure that you guys understand what that looks like. I had to move it because they were going to block me for some reason, even though it's my video. YouTube, that's my video, which you approved. Y'all are dumb. Stop messing with me, man. Go mess with somebody that actually is confusing you. Maybe that's what you want. But anyways, family, this is what it means by it. Any member of your family will die in the city and die in the city will be eaten by dogs. Let's see. Be careful how you run the quality. It takes down bandwidth. I see what you mean. Okay, got you. I mean, this is one example. So now I mentioned, see, I have this book, Dogs of Conquest, right? All praises to the Most High. It's an expensive book. I didn't buy it that expensive. I bought it like 4 years ago. And here, I'll show you real quick. Tell you, Dogs of Conquest for sale. Look, Amazon has it for like $500. You could find it for like 1,000, maybe, depending on the quality. But the point being is, fam, I didn't get it to that cost. I got it way less than that. But I've had it for a long time, but I wasn't ready until now. And I've shared it with you guys several times. So let's go into this book real quick. Okay. I'm going to mention certain things that talks about. Historians have agreed. Okay. This is the Dogs of Conquest. It says, historians have agreed that the Spanish conquest of the Indies was accomplished by men, horses, and dogs in that order. Men, horses, and dogs. The men had inspired hundreds of books. The horses, a few. The dogs, none until now. So this is a history that is being, like, for example, we always hear like, oh, our people were fed alligators. Yeah. Look at these guys here. These dogs were very well protected. They had armor and everything. This is not something to overlook, fam. When we talk about our people being fed to dogs, they're not lying. Okay. Let me see if I can find this one here. Dogs played a significant role. Here goes right here. Watch this. We'll start right around here. Page, it's just a preface. And then we'll skip a few. It is possible that the first European dogs brought to the New World were perros castos, or pure-blooded dogs. The Inca Garcilaso de la Vega tells us that such was the case with those initially brought to Peru. But at any rate, the condition could not have lasted long, just as men who were meticulous about limpieza, purity of blood, began in their hunger for women to produce a race of mestizos, so did their dogs who knew nothing about limpieza, began to populate the Indian world with mongrels. That's what they say so. As you can see, they love to believe this, right? It says here, where is it at? Rich's dogs. So it's going to give you as history that they've been using these dogs for some time, okay? So I'm going to skip all this. I get to this point. All right, here we go. Look, listen to this. This is still the preface, all right? It says, these activities brought loud protests. Okay, hold on. Let me magnify this. Hold on. Sorry, my bad. These activities brought loud protests from Miguel de Serna, Bishop of Gomera, and Isabel recalled de Vera to Spain, where she was in the midst of a struggle with the Moors of Granada, a conflict in which dogs were much of use. Among the abominations, the dogs devoured the bodies of Moorish children that sometimes were left dead or dying in church steps. A Spanish dog named Mohammed and owned by Diaz Sanchez de Carvajal is said to have fought too valiantly at Granada that he received a horseman's share of the spoils. The use of dogs in the subjugation and dispersal of the Moors was effective training for a number of men who were to employ dogs in the subsequent conquest of the New World. So we see the constant use of dogs. Nothing new under the sun, fam. Right? You see all over this book, it talks about on their first voyage, encountered, they were talking about native dogs and how they look like, right? But when you talk about here, let's see where we go at. This attack presents the first occasion where dogs used against natives, okay? This is talking about an attack in 1494. You guys can definitely get access to this. This is from archive.org. Okay. I would really highly suggest to read the book. It really goes into horrific detail, right? Pictures like this. Remember the video of our sister. You don't see the actual biting. But I mean, for God's sakes, bro, like, I mean, look. These things aren't kidding, man. These dogs are crazy. Look. There's a pit bull right here. Watch this. Look at this. This is a cat. Look at that. That's a cat, fam. So imagine that being a human being, a native, a trained dog to devour, to eat, to feed, to devour, to eat, to feed. Look at this. So this is a cat, but imagine a person. Imagine a person, family. This is what I need you guys to understand. You see, cats got 9 lives. Like, look at this. This is, and remember, keep in mind that the skin of a human being, okay, is nothing compared to like boars or animals. They're tougher. They got fur on them. Our skin is nothing like that. Come on, man. I could scratch you, cut you with my nails. And Indians hoped to deter the invaders by planting no more maize, but thus left themselves with nothing to eat except yuca. And the Spaniards, too, were soon starving. In the ensuing periods of great hunger, the Christians ate all the animals they could catch, using dogs for the hunt. Then, after eating all the native dogs available, they ungratefully rewarded their own dogs by eating them as well. It's crazy. Archives in court, lawsuit for copyright infringement, meaning writers are not getting royalties. Don't doubt. Go. Damn. Well, we better start downloading them. Check it out. The Spanish dogs. You see this picture? I'm just going to let this picture speak for themselves. Look at this. The military, the rifles, the swords, the dogs. Look at our people. They got armor. These dogs got armor. And remember, keep in mind that they are used to tearing the flesh of boars. Hunting game. We don't have the skin for that. We don't have the skin for that, fam. All right. So now when we go to this particular book, The Devastation of the Indies, a brief account, right? Page 43. Let's start here. It says, on those islands, the Spaniards perpetrated the same acts of aggression against the Indians and the wicked deeds described above, adding to them many outstanding cruelties, massacres, and burnings of the people, and executing them by flinging them to fierce dogs, torturing and oppressing the survivors, condemning them to the hard labor of mines, thus erecting them from the earth, despoiling the land of those unfortunate and innocent people. Yeah, they're getting desperate, man. It's only Lord willing, there's still a few of us left who are fighting for the truth, not for money and not for fame, because we just want. I'll tell you why, man. At the end of the class, you're gonna know what the point is. Because honestly, I appreciate the Most High for what He revealed. He's guiding me, saying, "Yo, you need to correct your teaching, man, and make sure you let them know what they're not supposed to feel." The people were killed by swords, by fire, by being torn to pieces by the fierce dogs kept by the Spaniards. Okay, I'm gonna show you something, and I know that I need you guys to see this. And why does it matter? Because listen, all of this is to show you that your history does matter, and the love that you're supposed to have for your brethren should supersede any hate that you have towards them for what they've done to you, because they've done this to us together, people that are not part of our people, and they've gotten away with it, and we're just walking over it like nothing. Watch this. I'm gonna show you guys something. You guys think that this stuff is, is not real? You'll see. You'll see right now. Watch this. I try to show you like examples of look at this. This is from a movie called Amores Perros, right? This is from a movie called Amores Perros, but check it. I seen this in my life, like when I was in Guadalajara. Check it.
Ahora tú cruzas, o sea, salte. Y ahí lo dejas el perro. Ahí lo dejas. Órale.
Leanna Lynn relies on.
I was looking for one of those scenes, but I guess they don't want to show us the scenes. Because you have to know what it means to be torn by pieces, by the fierce dogs kept by the Spaniards, and by being tortured to death in various ways. So, like, for example, matter of fact, I have a great example. Fam. I'm a great example right here. And I know this is going to hurt you guys and it's going to be painful, but I need you guys to understand what happens. This is real stuff. Okay. Let me see if I can get a little more. Sorry to scare you guys, but you have to know that this is real. Look at that. Eating them alive, family. The hyena is ripping the entrails of this animal. Now, I don't know what's keeping him alive, but I know for a fact that this happened to us. The books are showing it. You cannot get around this anymore. When I read material, when I read books, or when I see videos like, oh, poor so-and-so people, they must be the real Jews. But who in the world is ignoring this here? Why is this not important to you guys? Or is this the proper way? When people say, for example, family, when people say, hey, yeah, well, we conquered you guys. This is our country now. Really? You're okay with this? This is completely fine. Let's read this here. Page 11. They could track down natives, distinguishing their trails from those of Christians, and could uncover their hiding places and ambushes. Furthermore, these dogs could, in the end, slaughter their prey. Las Casas wrote that when the Indians saw themselves being destroyed by such inhumane means, trampled by horses, lanced, slashed by swords, burned alive, and devoured by dogs, they simply agreed to submit to any fate so long as they could avoid eradication. Trained dogs were unleashed and sported 8 Indians as if they were hogs. Las Casas, here goes right here. Las Casas cites that admiral as having said that 300 men and 20 to 30 horses, aided by the dogs they had brought with them, were sufficient to keep the Indians peaceful. Because a Spaniard was as secure with one dog as if he had to 100 soldiers. Evidence that dogs accompanied him on this journey is to be found in a statement by two mariners that while walking along a shore of island in Cubagua, their dog chased peculiar man-like creatures in the sea. There were which they customarily dwelt. Probably seals. Just fat people rolling on the ground. Look at this right here. On the last day of August 1492, Columbus vessel anchored on Hispaniola at a site to which Bartolome 2 years previously had moved the settlers of Isabela, and the Columbus was to name Santiago Domingo. Here the admiral found sickness and hunger, and here he received news of the rebellion of San Francisco Roldan and his followers. After some pursuit and several hangings, a fair peace was established by which the admiral gave allotment of Indians to Roldan and his men in a system that anticipated the repartimiento and was to increase continuously the necessity for trained dogs. It provided that Indians worked the lands like serf for the benefit of their Spanish masters. What's up, bro? It was scientifically proven how our people extermination during European invasion affected the global climate. Damn, bro. See, I want to see that, man, because I can imagine that. Think about it, like how the agricultural cycle, I could understand the tilling of the ground, right? The 7-year process, the cycle, the oxygen. Yeah, man, I could see that. Which a drop in carbon. Oh, there it goes. Emissions from the great dying of Native Americans, the world's global temperature dropped by about 0.015 degrees Celsius, according to the study. That's deep, though. Yeah, it's a pretty good book, man. It's scary. It's pretty heavy, man. It's a pretty heavy book. I mean, it just goes into the actual like detail in regards to like just how they use dogs. Las Casas noted the ironing of Spaniards with scarcely a shirt to their backs, rewarding the continuous service of their vessels with lashes across their naked bodies and the distasteful epithet dogs. See, these guys are just, I mean, you can go back and forth on this, man. It's just horrific. This is the Dogs of Conquest. Sorry about that, fam. Sorry, I wasn't the Dogs of Conquest. This is the brief account. So now let's go into, I'm jumping back and forth. You guys pay attention. I'm jumping back and forth. Look at this right here. It says here, let me read this. This is page 56. The governor could obtain 50 slaves at a time by threatening the cacique, which being burned at the stakes or thrown to the fierce dogs if he refused. Since the Indians do not commonly have slaves, at the most a cacique may have 2 or 3 or 4. He simply went through the settlement, taking to begin with all the orphans. Now, keep in mind, fam, that a lot of these caciques were not our people. These were Africans who were mixed with Spaniards, right? Regarding the mixture, keep that in mind, all right? So then they could either say, oh, I'm cacique now. Oh, I'm mestizo now. Oh, I'm African now. I've showed you guys videos where they purposely changed their title to either not pay taxes, tribute, or whatever benefit. To this day, they're doing it even now. Look at this right here. Oh, and these stewards, let's see, these stewards slew many. Okay, here goes. These stewards, page 78. Just Google dogs, you'll find it. These stewards slew many Indians by hanging, burning, and being torn to pieces by savage dogs. Also by cutting off the hands and feet and heads and tongues. And for no other reason than to spread terror and induce the Indians to give them golden tributes. And the egregious tyrant well knew that these things would have been given without all those floggings, beatings, and buffetings, and all the cruelties that were practiced every day and every hour. Let's go to Jeremiah 15. All right, watch this real quick, fam. Jeremiah 15, watch what it reads. At verse 3, it says, I, the Lord will not relent. Let me go into the Apocryphal. I just like it. I'm sorry, the King James. Jeremiah 15:3, it says, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord. The sword to slay, which we know it. The dogs to tear, which we're reading. And the fowls of heaven that would eat the carcasses. And the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. The beasts of the earth, which ones? Pigs. The beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. Why? Because we never dealt with pigs. Do you realize that when they first released pigs here in America, they decimated all the actual harvesting? Because they're not used to the flavor of this continent. That's a fact. That's funny. I don't think he is, bro. Solomé, I don't think he's black, bro. I don't think he is. But I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, brothers. It's just, and the reason why, Michelle, is because we got few people from black Hebrew converts coming here bugging us. But anyways, let's continue the direction. So 4 kinds: dogs, right? Swords, beasts of the earth, and fowls of heaven. And we see this in Leviticus 26. Watch what he says. This is the actual curse. It says here, if you keep graven images from you, if you only worship the Most High, this will not happen to you. But if you don't, this is going to happen to you. Leviticus 26, 22. Watch what it reads. I will also send wild beasts among you, which will rob you of your children and destroy your cattle and make you few in numbers, and your highways shall be desolate. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now, fam. There's absolutely nobody in this world that can say that we were left few in numbers. Who took our children, sent wild beasts, destroyed our cattle, and decimated us in few numbers, and totally destroyed our construction. You saw AMLO say that they literally destroyed all that, and on top of it, built cathedrals. On top of it, built cathedrals. So there's absolutely nobody else that could say this happened to you. No, I'm sorry, Canaanites, this did not happen to you, because they were not taking your cattle, dummy, because, well, that's clear. And you weren't left few in numbers. And your highways weren't desolate, because if you were a Hebrew, you wouldn't be from Africa. At all. Deuteronomy 28. Watch this. 26. And thy carcasses shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. And we read right here, carcasses. Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll look it up. Let's do carcasses. Carcasses. Is that how you spell it? I think that you do. Oh, man. I guess that's not how you spell it. Hold up. Carcass. I think that's how you spell it, but there's no S. And sorry, fam. I was not a winner of the spelling bee contest. Anyways, as you can see, your carcasses. I mean, there's material that obviously when you're being eaten in pieces, bro, you're gonna be left in the streets like that. There's no joke. Look, page 70. All the remaining Indians were slain with pikes and swords, and were thrown to the savage dogs, which tore them to pieces and devoured them. And thy carcasses shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. So now let's watch this real quick. I want this to sink in, fam. I want this to stick to you. We're going to watch this video. It's about, wait, hold on. Is it? That's not the video. Hold on. Oh, this is a minute-long commercial. I need you to watch this, okay, fam? I may jump in. We're going to jump it in pieces. If it seems kind of boring, then I'll just speed up through, okay? Let's go.
1494. Columbus approaches Jamaica, what would become Puerto Bueno. Painted natives are gathered on the beaches, carrying weapons to defend against invasion. Columbus is not looking to make peace. He's looking to show strength and get revenge for the destruction of La Navidad, a Spanish settlement destroyed by natives the previous year. Aggression might frighten the natives of Jamaica enough that they would avoid future hostilities. Conquistadors take the shore, firing crossbows and slashing with swords, but the natives don't retreat. Then the Spanish release the warhounds. Massive 200-pound mastiffs and lightning-fast greyhounds rush the shore. As the gnashing teeth tear into the flesh, others flee in terror. The ones caught are ripped to pieces by the pursuing dogs. The Spanish admiral takes the now vacant but bloody beach and claims the land for Spain. Columbus later reflects in his journal. He writes that when fighting Indians, one dog is worth 10 soldiers. Welcome to Dates and Dead Guys. Our topic in this episode are the warhounds, a secret weapon of the conquistadors, and one that is often overlooked in the Spanish conquest of Central and South America. If you were to rank the reasons for Spanish success in conquest of the New World, the top of the list would probably include things like disease, guns, steel, and probably horses. But in the shadows of the history, the tracks of the dog show an ominous presence in the conflict. Cultures throughout world history have used dogs for the purposes of war, and as early as 1260 AD, they were used in Spain. Christopher Columbus, mostly nice guy I hear, brought 20 dogs with him when he returned to the New World in 1493. Most of the dogs used by the Spanish were either mastiffs or greyhounds, and the reasons are obvious. Mastiffs are massive and intimidating, and greyhounds are fast as hell. They are also lovable, but good at ripping throats. The invasion of Jamaica, referenced in the opening, demonstrated to the conquistadors how useful these dogs could be. As decades of conquest rolled on, they would be used more and more, and very famous conquistadors, including Ponce de Leon, Hernan Cortez, Hernando de Soto, and Francisco Pizarro, will all use warhounds. Gonzalo Pizarro, the brother of Francisco, used them too, but unfortunately he eats most of them when his men run out of food on a disastrous expedition in 1541.
We read that, okay? So let's skip here real quick. Look what they look like.
Vulnerable areas of these dogs were often covered, and spike collars were pretty common. Armor, sometimes, but thick quilted layers were probably the most common thing used to protect them against arrows by the natives. These dogs were very loyal to their owners, but they were vicious in attack. An excellent and serious example comes from a book with a silly title, The Paw Prints of History, written by Stanley Coren. He
Write that information down, fam.
writes of the 1495 Battle of Vigo Real in Haiti, quote, "Native forces, numbering the thousands, advanced upon the small band of Spaniards. Columbus had given control of the dogs to Alonso de Orellana, a small man who combined physical courage with a personality disposed toward violence and rash cruelty. He gathered the dogs in the far right flank and waited until the battle had reached a high level of fury. He then released all 20 mastiffs, shouting, 'Tomalos,' meaning take them or sick them. The angry dogs swept down on the native fighters in a raging phalanx, hurling themselves at the Indians' naked bodies. They grabbed their opponents by their bellies and throats. As the stunned Indians fell to the ground, the dogs disemboweled them and ripped them to pieces. Spinning from one bloody victim to another, the dogs tore through the native ranks. One observer of the battle, Bartholomew de las Casas, reported that in less than 1 hour, each dog had torn apart at least 100 Indians.
Family, I want you guys to remember what he just said. In less than 1 hour. Okay? I'm going to show you something pretty soon, but yeah, let's continue. In less than 1 hour, okay? Well, let's go back. I want you to pay attention. Let me read it. Let them finish, and then I'm going to read something to you.
They grabbed their opponents by their bellies and throats. As the stunned Indians fell to the ground, the dogs disemboweled them and ripped them to pieces. Spinning from one bloody victim to another, the dogs tore through the native ranks. One observer of the battle, Bartholomew de las Casas, reported that in less than 1 hour, each dog had torn apart at least 100 Indians. Recognizing that his readers might find this difficult to believe, de las Casas explained that the animals had originally been trained to hunt for wild game. In comparison, they found the skin of their naked human opponents was far easier to tear apart than the hides of deers or boar. Furthermore, the dogs had now developed a taste for human flesh." End quote.
Well, now let me go ahead and skip this real quick. I'm glad I paused it right then and there. So now let's remember what he said. It says here, as dogs and Indians fell to the ground, the dogs disemboweled them and ripped them to pieces. Spinning from one bloody victim to another, the dogs tore through the native ranks. One observer of the battle, Bartolomé de las Casas, reported that in less than 1 hour, each dog had torn apart at least 100 Indians. Okay, so you remember what we read in Jeremiah. So now let's go to Ezekiel, and I'm going to take you somewhere else. Okay, so this is a precept upon precept. Ezekiel 14:21. Watch what it says here. It says, "For thus saith the Lord God, how much more when I send my 4 sour judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword, the famine, the noisome beast, and the pestilence, to cut off from the man and beast." All of this happened to us. Okay, so now remember, he talked about in 1 hour. You see, fam, this is why you need to understand history with Bible. It says here, Habakkuk 1:5, "Behold, ye among the heathen, us among the heathen, regard, and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told to you." So what I'm going to share with y'all, you're not going to believe it, even though I'm telling you. Okay? It says here, their horses are swifter than the leopards. Verse 8, "Their horses are swifter than leopards and are more fierce than evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat." Now, why am I reading this? Because of this, fam. Because of this. It says, hold on, watch this, because it's interesting that we find particular statements giving us an idea of who these guys are, telling us what they would say, what kind of words. Remember, fam, past, present, future. The Most High opens that window to you that actually is sincere about not just keeping the laws, but it's sincere that you really are repenting, right? And there's other work involved. But check this out. I'm telling you, family, this is getting crazy and crazy and crazy. This is from the golden age of the Moors, right? Watch what he says. It says here on page 336, the color of the conquering soldiers was described vividly by European scholars who sympathized with Christian Spain. We know now that the Africans and the Assyrians and the Muslims, together, they conquered Europe. Together, they did that. Yes, we understand that now. And they conquered the Visigoths, which is the Anglos, right? So watch this. So when they came into Europe, watch what this writer says about the Moors on how they conquered the Europeans. He has sympathy for the Anglos. The reins of their horses were as fire, their faces black as pitch, and their eyes shone like burning candles. Watch this. I'm sorry. I'm reading this real quick. My bad. All right. So watch this real quick. The golden age of Moors, page 336. Watch what it says here. The color of the conquering soldiers was described vividly by a European scholar who sympathized with the Christian Spain. The reins of their horses, meaning the Moors, were as fire. Their faces black as pitch, meaning what they look like. Their eyes shone like burning candles. Watch this. Their horses were as swift as leopards, and the riders fiercer than a wolf in a sheepfold at night. What? Their horses were as swift as leopard and more fierce than the evening wolves. Okay? It's like, wait a minute, hold up. What? And then it says, the nobles, Goth, were broken in an hour. Quicker than tongue can tell. Oh, luckless Spain. Let's go.
Recognizing that his readers might find this difficult to believe, De las Casas explained that the animals had originally been trained to hunt for wild game. In comparison, they found the skin of their naked human opponents was far easier to tear apart than the hides of deers or boar. Furthermore, the dogs had now developed a taste for human flesh. End quote. It's a terrifying picture. Now, Las Casas' account sounds exaggerated. There were 20 dogs, and he says they each killed 100 native teeth. They laid open their victims to the entrails. End quote. A Mayan priest that was imprisoned by the Spanish said that he witnessed mastiffs destroying the faces of his people. Certain dogs were so effective that they became notorious to the native groups they encountered, and some are even still known today. Amigo, who was with Cortez and the...
Ow. I didn't expect that to be there that quick. So anyways, let's listen to this.
Thrones. That guy was a prick. The effectiveness of these dogs...
Now, I'm going to show you this real quick, so let's not forget. Let's go back to the scriptures. I need this to make sure that it sinks in, fam. You got to connect the dots here. It says their horses are swifter than leopards and are more fierce than the evening wolf, meaning that the enemy is going to come this way like that, right? With that particular aura, with horses, fierce like leopards. Their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from afar. They shall fly as the eagle that hasted to eat. So, remember Deuteronomy 28, right? 28:49. It says here, a nation from afar. The Lord shall bring a nation from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Thou shalt not understand, right? So check this out. I want to show you something real quick. What's this? Fam? The two-headed eagle. And we know that scripture talks about the two-headed eagle. Let's continue.
Led to increased sadism among the Spanish. They took up a practice called La Monteria Infernal, or hellish hunting, but it's also called dogging. The Spanish would capture the chiefs, or the high-ranking officials of a native group, and in front of their tribe set the dogs on them, and they would tear them to shreds. Fear of being dogged led many natives to submit to the Spanish without even a fight. Many of the conquistadors, despite being devout Catholics, were not the best people. Many didn't see value in the life of natives, and others literally found sport in killing them. Las Casas again wrote that it was not unusual for one Spaniard to say to another, quote, "Lend me a quarter of an Indian to give my dog some meat until I..."
You see that, fam? It's all good, Mashal. Don't worry about it, bro. Lend me a quarter of an Indian to give my dogs some meat until I kill one next. Do you guys realize that the babies, our children, the tender bones of a child, the richness in their blood? Why do you think they have people sacrificing children? Crazy stuff. That's what I hear. That's what this conspiracy is. Supposedly the blood regenerates. It's just really sad, fam. Let's go.
I kill one next, end quote. The thought was that giving them the meat of the natives would make them more vicious when used in battle. There's another example of a Portuguese man, not a Spaniard, but still relevant, who was seen hanging quarters of an Indian up to later feed to his dogs. Violence with dogs would also sometimes be used for sport.
This game,
there were stories of conquistadors setting the dogs on innocent people and taking bets on where the dog would bite first or how the person would die. Throat, blood loss, body cavity ripped open, but it didn't always go according to plan. The most famous warhound of them all was Bersarillo. The name means little bull calf, and
Becerrillo, como un becerro, like a little bull. Look at this, fam. These are like pit bulls, man. Let's go.
He was a mastiff. The handler of this dog was a Spanish captain named Diego de Salazar. He was not a nice person, but he was excellent at handling this dog, and Bersarillo was famous for a reason. One night near Capara, a Spanish force is down for sleep when Bersarillo starts barking and sounding an alarm. There's a sneak attack from the natives. The Spanish were able to rally in the battle with the help of armor, guns, and swords, but when the bodies were examined after, it was said that 33 had wounds from Bersarillo, with the dog potentially killing many of them. But on another occasion, Bersarillo was far kinder than his Spanish counterparts. In 1514, he shot with arrows when attacking Carib warriors.
And he dies later. All praises. Damn dog. Damn dog, man. Check this out. Show you guys some visuals. We're almost done, fam. We're almost done. Look at this. Okay. But now I want to show you this. See, we're missing some info. We know that certain people conquered that area and certain people acted like they were Europeans at that point because they were conquering that land. Now, they took it upon themselves to carry that black eagle. You see, the book that I have, family, it actually shows that they buffered, they used the right-hand man of these people was these Africans. And I'm going to show you why I say this. And you see this whole thing about that whole Willie Lynch and breeding and all that crap? That's a lie, family. Look at this picture, and I want you guys to pay attention. You see, we look at these pictures and we just ignore them. But look this out. You see this guy here? Who is he? Now, you look at the size of this man. Look at his feet. He's taller than the horse. The horses are as tall as this guy. This guy's shorter than the horse, kind of like that. This dude is bigger than them. His head is bigger than them. He's a big man. Why do you think we have football players this size? This is nothing new under the sun, family. There was no mixing, the breeding to get. No, that's a lie. And that whole caste system, that's a lie too. That's not true. They already looked like that. They already been mixing together for a long time. And then they grabbed several of our sisters. And yes, we do have the heathens within us. But you're going to be squeezed the hell out. These are facts. Who's this guy? Well, I tell you who that guy is. It's the same guys. These two guys use these animals. These two nations were a fierce nation. Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. If you look at that picture, you can look at this picture. Look, our brothers are like, hey, man, we want to be friends. This guy looks mad. Fierce countenance. That shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Do you think that we know now that a lot of these weren't even soldiers? They were just adventurers trying to get a piece of the pie. Which is why they just didn't care anymore. We were nothing to them other than somebody to take the heritage from, because one thing they knew is if we get rid of these fools, this is our promised land. You see, I'm going to tell you something, family. I'm going to tell you something, because the Bible tells us that this would happen to us too. Watch this. Ezekiel 23. It says, 25, and I will set my jealousy against thee, and they shall deal furiously with thee. They shall take away thy nose and thine ears, and thy remnant shall fall by the sword. They shall take thy sons and thy daughters, and thy residue shall be devoured by fire. Check this out. They shall take away thy nose and thine ears. Now imagine, family. These are pliers right here, okay? Now, I remember when I was little, my mom would grab my orejas, or she would grab the side of my hair, right? Side of my hair, right? Boricuas, that's right. She would grab the side of my hair and pull it. Or she would grab my ear and pull it and twist it sometimes. These are pliers. Hands cut off, noses chopped off, ears chopped off, dogs being unleashed. You should die by the sword, by the beast of the field, by pestilence. Look at this. Thrown off of cliffs with our heads chopped, bodies blunted with daggers, hands cut off. You're like, what the hell is going on? You start wondering, man, like, what was it that bad? Did we really sin against the Most High that bad? Yeah, man. And this is the bitter wisdom that I'm talking about. Look, page 13. Francisco de Bodilla eagerly used dogs as instruments of his policy. Yet to be effective, the dogs had to be well fed. To a great extent, the conquerors and settlers permitted their dogs to forage for their own food. In Europe, dogs had been scavengers. Let me skip. When hunting dogs in the Indies, like those in Spain, were permitted to eat that part of the catch that their masters found unpalatable. They roamed the country too, eating what they captured, until they began to seriously deplete the land of its edible stock, both domestic and wild. You see that? And the beast of the field would devour your cattle. You are the people. Now I'm going to show you something. I had another scripture in mind, but let me see if I can remember it. But I'm going to show you this real quick. We're almost done. Revelation 6, verse 8. It says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given to them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, with hunger, with death, and with the beast of the earth. So who benefited from all this? Who benefited from all this? Here, I'm going to show you this real quick. I'm only going to show you a portion of this. And then, give me a second. Give me a second, okay? Where you at? Is this it? Oh, now we can't find it. I had the book. Give me a second, fam. Just want to read this to you guys real quick, and then we're going to move on because I'm almost done. There is one page I want to show you guys, and I wanted to wait for it later, but I'm going to show you. The notes are in there, and maybe the Most High is just putting it in my spirit. Okay. Where you at? Look up. Okay. Here goes right here. Give me a second. Here it goes right here. See, this is what I mean. You are not being relevant to these people. Okay? Watch this real quick. It's from the same book that Canaanite brought out, Nate the Snake. I'm just going to read this part in section on page 7. Watch what they say. It is a Jewish merchant. Matter of fact, let me go back here so you could see what goes on. In the black metropolis, they are forming in the core areas of all great American cities. In Harlem and Lawndale, Watts, and in barbecue pits of North Philadelphia. It is the Max Gordons and the younger, more Americanized co-religious that form the business infrastructure. It is a Jewish merchant, grocer, and landlord who has become the face of the white urban America. Mr. Charlie has been metamorphosed into Goldberg, and Goldberg has eclipsed that other older, perhaps equally unreal image of the Jew, so poignantly depicted in the Negro spiritual, the Jew who, like the Negro, suffered bonds of cruel slavery. But the refrain along with the beat has been changed. You see this book, and all they talk about is the similarity between them. Between them, not you. No way, shape, or form are you ever mentioned in this book of your sufferings, of the slaughter. No, that is absolutely not curses of Deuteronomy 28. They're not. That's just manifest destiny. That's the Monroe Doctrine. This is this right here.
Mr. President, Vladimir Putin may be a liar and a demagogue, but it is hypocritical for the United States to insist that we, as a nation, do not accept the principle of spheres of influence. Hostility to early NATO expansion is almost universally felt across the domestic political spectrum here, end quote. For the last 200 years, our country has operated under the Monroe Doctrine.
The last 200 years, you guys have operated under this doctrine. And you know what nation of people I'm talking about? Yeah, you too. Okay? You white and black Europeans. All right? I'm talking to you guys. All right? Let's continue. You're not going to run away from this because I know that, well, there's a party that says, yeah, we did that. But oh, well, you got the Donald Trumps. And then you got the wobbles or these converts that say, that's not us. We never did that. BS. We know you did. And this is what's going to be the great awakening. And this is what's going to turn everybody against this land. Because they're going to find out that it was two people involved. And those two people are the only ones that are claiming to be the Jews of the Bible. That's why in Revelation 2:9 and in Revelations it says 2:9 and 3:9, and you wonder why is it together one page after the other, and it says something different. That's right. Nowhere to run, bro. Nowhere to run. I'm after you. I'm after y'all. Let's go.
Embracing the principle that as the dominant power in the Western Hemisphere, the United States has the right, according to the United States, to intervene against any country that might threaten our alleged interests. That's United States policy. And under this doctrine, the United States has undermined and overthrown at least a dozen countries throughout Latin America, Central America, and the Caribbean. As many might recall, in 1962, we came to the brink of nuclear war with the Soviet Union. Now, why was that? Why did we almost come to the brink of nuclear war with the Soviet Union? Well, we did that in response to the placement of Soviet missiles in Cuba 90 miles from our shore. And the Kennedy administration saw that as an unacceptable threat to national security. We said it is unacceptable for a hostile country to have a significant military presence 90 miles away from our shore. And let us be clear. The Monroe Doctrine is not ancient history. As recently as 2018, Donald Trump's Secretary of State Rex Tillerson called the Monroe Doctrine, quote, as relevant today as it was the day it was written, end quote.
You see that? As relevant today as it was when it first created. You see this manifest destiny, this sphere of influence. So let's not forget, family, that together these nations, right? Matter of fact, I have this book, right? And I'm going to bring it in my other classes, but it talks about how the first conquistadors Actually, no, I think it shows it here. The first conquistadors were African looking. But as time went on in the 17th, 1800s, they got lighter. And we forgot what they really looked like. And that's the trickery. And I know that masonry has a lot to do with this. There's 33 degree masons, you boule, mother. Oof, I was about to curse because I know you sneaky bastards. I know what y'all doing. You're the ones that are feeding these wobbles, this BS stories. And you're the one that's giving Curimero all this BS angle. And guess what? We found out where you are, Curimeo. Thank you, brother. We'll be there soon. Let's continue this. This is exactly what it's talking about. 2019, 2018, 2021, 2023. Let's go.
1911, en México, una invasión. 1911, en México, una invasión. 1912, marines norteamericanos invaden Nicaragua, querido compañero, y dieron comienzo a la ocupación que se mantendría casi continua hasta 1933. Los echó Augusto César Andino y el pueblo nicaragüense. 1914, México. 1915, Haití. 1916, República Dominicana. 1918, Panamá. 1924, Honduras. 1925, Panamá. 1926, Nicaragua. 1927, Nicaragua. 1930, República Dominicana.
Family, let's not forget. Let's not forget that as he's naming these years. All right, let me put it on mute. Hold on. Watch this. I'm gonna put it on mute. And every year, 1911 in Mexico invasion, right? The excuse that supposedly Pancho Villa invaded them. That's where it all started, right? And then 1917, the fumigation of our people. Who was in power then? Who was not in slavery anymore? Suckers, 1865 happened a long time ago. And you guys already had representation in politics. Those laws that were being passed, we weren't voting on them. Matter of fact, white and black folks been the voting parties the whole entire time. We are a very small percentage. So who is voting for these things to happen? Who is actually sitting by the manifested Monroe Doctrine, the sphere of influence? It is two nations, just like you said, Meshi, two nations of people. Y'all tag team this thing, but this time it's over. You see, before we came in peace. This time, I'm going to remind you guys of this. You reminded me, Meshi, because now the Most High. Listen to this. This is from American Holocaust. This is the spirit that they're messing with, and I'm glad that you think we got to be like Africans to be like great Salvador Sanchez or Chavez. Y'all don't know our history, especially mine. It says here, unlike most of the Caribbean people, the Spanish encountered the inhabitants of Mexico had a good deal of experience with warfare. To be sure, Aztec warriors were Mexica warriors were trained in highly individualistic fighting techniques, since the aim of battle was not to kill masses of the enemy, but rather to capture and bring back a single worthy opponent to be sacrificed at the following years of ceremonies of fertility. I'm gonna tell you guys something, fam. I never liked jumping people, man. I always wanted one-on-one because I wanted to make sure that there was no excuses. Still, those fighting skills were formidable, and when combined with Aztec and Norman numerical advantages, they were more than a match for any invading army of Europe. As the Europeans' interlopers' own accounts make clear, individual Indian warriors repeatedly showed themselves the equal or more of any among the Spanish militia. The story of one Aztec soldier, Mexica soldier, who in hand-to-hand combat fought off a handful of Spanish horsemen. When they could not bring him down, one of the Spanish threw a lance at the Indian, who caught it and fought for another hour before being shot by two archers and then stabbed. But what was but one among innumerable such reports from the conquistadors themselves. It ain't happening again. It ain't happening again. Not on this watch. Not now. Not ever again. In 1888, let me see this real quick, because I'm coming after you, Masons. 1880, Mexican's War of Independence was Spanish-European separation from Europe monarchy. 1910 revolution was an intermasonic war of Europeans, never to liberate natives from parasites. Matter of fact, that actually has to do with the Latinos. So I'm going to show that link. Let's go.
Norteamericanos invaden Nicaragua.
I'm just letting it go.
y dieron comienzo a la ocupación que se mantendría casi continua hasta 1933. Los echó Augusto César Andino y el pueblo nicaragüense. 1914, México. 1915, Haití. 1916, República Dominicana. 1918, Panamá. 1924, Honduras. 1925, Panamá. 1926, Nicaragua. 1927, Nicaragua. 1930, República Dominicana. 1933, Nicaragua. Nicaragua en el 34, Panamá en el 41. Luego la Escuela de las Américas. Luego está allí el TIAR en Cuba, 1952, 1954, el derrocamiento de Jacobo Arbenz en Guatemala, 1956, Nicaragua. 1960, el presidente Eisenhower autoriza realización a gran escala de acciones encubiertas para derribar el gobierno de Fidel Castro. Y luego Playa Girón, 1961. Es decir, aquí podemos seguir. João Goulart en Brasil, 1964. 1965, querido presidente del Consejo de Seguridad. ¿Cuántos murieron en República Dominicana por la invasión, avalada por la Organización de Estados Americanos, para derrocar un gobierno que no les convenía o que no les gustaba ideológicamente, el gobierno del gran dominicano y nuestro americano que fue Juan Bosch? La doctrina Monroe. Debería ser Estados Unidos el que esté evaluado y sometido a examen permanente por su permanente irrespeto al derecho internacional e intromisión, injerencia, invasiones detrás de los golpes de Estado. Después vino el golpe en 1973 contra el presidente Salvador Allende, después de Guatemala también. En 2002, en Venezuela, presidente George Bush, golpe de Estado. Lo negaron, pero reconocieron al dictador y hay un precedente. 1911.
It doesn't stop, fam. It doesn't stop. Continuous chaos, right? Let's finish this.
In 2019, former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton declared, quote, "The Monroe Doctrine is alive and well," end quote. To put it simply, even if Russia was not ruled by a corrupt, oligarchic, authoritarian leader like Vladimir Putin, Russia, like the United States, would still have an interest in the security policies of its neighbors.
Watch this real quick. So these are the beneficiaries, and these are the people that stand behind this statement. And this is why when they make these comments, these comments should go real deep and have a very significant meaning to you guys. You just can't overlook them because what they're saying has a heavy weight. Like this right here.
Go back to your own fucking country.
Watch what this dumb broad says. Let's go. But it ain't just this nation. I'm gonna call you both out.
Go back to your own fucking country.
What else? Come on. Say
Yeah,
it.
go back to Mexico.
You know, my very first video on this account was in response to this type of behavior. And in that video, I stated this, that the difference between indigenous people of these lands and foreigners is that your ancestors either met the boat or they came over on it. Now, I know that rubbed more than a few people the wrong way, but not a single person has been able to dispute that one basic truth. And to that truth, I'd like to add one more. Now, this applies whether you're first-generation immigrant or 25th generation, whether your family came over on the Mayflower or wrote the Declaration of Independence itself. On behalf of my ancestors and the indigenous blood that runs through my veins, as long as there is one single drop of indigenous blood on these lands, you, your ancestors, and your descendants to that blood, you will always be foreign.
Damn right about that. Damn right about that, fam. Now, who are these foreigners? Let's check this out. I'm gonna show you something. All right, so check it, bro. This is from Park Ethnography. Let's read. African spores of Spanish America. This is what I'm talking about, Meshi. The first Africans of Spain were known as Ladinos, or Hispanicized Africans, and were soldiers, servants, settlers. Remember that. Soldiers, servants, settlers, and slaves. So they were soldiers first. They were also servants, and then settlers, meaning conquerors, right? They began to arrive in America as late as the 15th century, many as auxiliaries to the Spanish and Portuguese explorers. As Matthew Bristol states, from the very onset of Spanish activity in America, Africans were present both in voluntary expeditions and as involuntary colonists, the two heads. Many of people of African descent initially saw passage to the New World as a means of bettering their social and economic positions. Given their numbers roles in Spanish port cities like Seville and generally depressed economic conditions, it is not surprising that both free and enslaved Africans hoped to improve their lot by crossing the Atlantic and the early voyages of exploration and conquest. Really? You weren't forced? No. Those who voluntarily set out an expedition and became part of the armed auxiliaries were more likely than those in unarmed roles to gain freedom. The African pioneers who set out for a new world contributed greatly to the building and maintenance of colonial societies. Together with the Europeans, they formed a specialized and limited pool of human resources circulating throughout the circum-Caribbean area between 1519 and 1600. 155.6 thousand Africans disembarked in the Spanish American mainland and another 187.7 thousand over the next 50 years. Africans and their descendants were the integral part of the exploration of the Spanish America from the 15th and 18th century. Spanish expeditions within what became the United States largely covered Florida and Southwest. African men and women were part of the number of Spanish expeditions. Pánfilo de Narváez, black man who used dogs in 1528 from Cuba to Florida, is one example. Estebancito as well. Juan Guerrero de Reza is also. 1600 included African soldiers, their mulatto wives and children, and Isabella Oliveira, a mulatto woman who was African. These are just 3 examples of many expeditions, which included Africans and African Americans among members. Pánfilo de Narváez expedition given an example of how Africans potentially adjusted to the life of circumstances. You guys could read that there, supposedly black Mexican, but he was from Morocco. Look. Conquistadors and militia. You see this picture here? This picture should tell you, give you 1,000 words. Look at this. Oh, I guess it's not there. 16th century conquistadors of African and Afro-Hispanic American descent, hereafter referred to as black conquistadors, okay, were as much part of the exploration of America as their Spanish counterparts.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Many people of African descent use military services as a means of emancipation and inclusion to Spanish society. As the number of expeditions increased, the people within Spanish American began to settle. Black conquistadors figured predominantly in the securing of these lands. They were given encomiendas too. In Chile, porteros. They were either, look, in his lifetime, they were either doorkeepers, criers. You know what criers are? The people that actually give me $1, $2,000, $3,000, so speak for 50 cents. That's exactly what they were. Eventually, through the pobreza or petitionary proof of merit, Juan was given a house plot, but he was never granted a position in the city of Mexico, other than the typical occupied by blacks. Black conquistadors in Yucatan. Juan Valiente, black conquistador, another example. In Guatemala, Peru, Chile. In result of his conquest was given an estate, Indian slaves, in an Indian town to pay him tribute. The examples of these 4 black conquistadors and brief synopsis of their conquest and occupation shed light on the social and economic position available to black conquistadors at the time. Look at this. Spanish American soldiers. Watch this real quick. In the 17th century came to a close, the racial ethnic composition of black conquistadors changed. The majority of the conquistadors would now be mulattoes. You see this? As of the 17th century, as the 17th century came to a close, the racial and ethnic composition of black conquistadors changed. The majority of conquistadors would now be mulattoes, free and enslaved, as opposed to their earlier counterparts who were Africans. Come on, man. Tell them. Gotcha, bitch. Count again. Gotcha, bitch. So as you can see, the first ones that were arriving, now I know why. What's the movie called? Let me see what's the movie called. Hold on. I'm gonna try to do something real quick, fam. Because matter of fact, hold on a second. I may have a scene. I may have the scene. Hold on, let me see. Is that it? No. Let me see if I can pull it up from here. This one. Popular. All right, this is from, what did I post? Give me a second. Even the rain. Okay. Even the rain. All right, hold on. Even the rain. Even the rain scene. See, you got to pay attention to these things, family. Watch this. I'm going to show you this, okay? So remember, keep in mind what the book is saying. Watch this scene real quick and pay attention to who these guys are. Hold on, hold on. Let me see. Is it this one? Yeah, let's check this out, okay? Watch this. Pay attention to the soldiers.
Te bautizaré y obtendrás la gloria y la paz en el cielo, de lo contrario sufrirás un tormento eterno en el infierno.
First of all, pay attention to the hair, okay? Their hair is really curly. All right, let's go.
En el nombre de Cristo todavía puedes salvar tu alma. Aprender la diferencia entre el cielo y el infierno. Pedirle perdón al Señor. Yo te bautizaré y obtendrás la gloria y la paz eterna en el cielo. De lo contrario sufrirás un tormento eterno. Cristiano, sí.
Cacha guaychis infierno, man.
Mándeme al infierno. ¡Silencio! Esto es lo que os ocurrirá si desafiáis a los cristianos.
Give me a second. This is not the scene. I'm looking for the scene where let me see. Is it this one?
En tanto que gobernador de esta isla os tratasen con respeto y cordialidad.
Hold on.
Solicitamos a la reina de España como legisladores de esta capitán. Vosotros a voluntad.
First of all, pay attention to this right here. As you know, they're blonde, but at the same time, dark hair. They're dark-skinned people. Okay? Watch this. I'm looking for a scene where they actually have, let me see, is it this one? Let's see. También la lluvia. Let me see. So this is the movie, they're filming it. And I'm trying to look for the scene where, hold on, where you at? This is where they're chasing them. Right? This is where they cut their hand. This is where they actually chase them. Give me a second. This is the whole movie right here. All right. So I'm looking for the scene because I'm going to have to do this, fam. I want to point something out. They give us hints. Let me see. Is it here? No, 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 no. I'm just winging it right now. So bear with me. Oh, it's probably in the beginning. Let me see. All right, it's going to be right there. They're practicing. Okay. They're practicing. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. You know what I mean? So they're practicing right there. I just want to show you the vision, the view of this particular soldier. It's interesting how they depict him. And I wish I would have caught this before, but it's just the Most High. You know, he put it in my spirit to find it now. So I want to show you something. There's a scene where, not this one, not the hands are chopped off. There's a scene where he's waiting for them, I guess. Hold on, is this here? I think this is it, fam. Darn it. I may not be able to find it, but okay. Here it goes right here. Okay, here it goes right here. Watch this. So these guys are going to show up.
Comandante, la corona os procesará por esto. No lo creo, padre. ¡Esto no es cristiano, por Dios!
Escoged a 13 y liberad al resto. Uno por cada discípulo y uno por Jesucristo. ¿Queréis escoger los dos?
Eso es un sacrilegio.
No, padre. Es un ejemplo. ¿Por qué no os unís a los franciscanos y salváis sus almas? Si es que las tienen. Si se entromete, restadlo.
A ver. Los evangelistas.
Look at his face.
Mateo.
Salváis sus almas. Si es que las tienen.
Watch this real quick, fam.
Si se entromete, restadlo.
A ver. Los evangelistas.
Boom. Look at that. Why did they depict this guy as so dark? As so dark. They're trying to tell you something, okay? They're trying to tell us who these guys are. But see, they can't really tell you up front. So they got to do it this way.
Mateo, Marcos, Lucas, Juan. Padre, ¿podéis ayudarme?
See?
Creo que he olvidado.
Look at that. Look at his image. Are you telling me that this is a so-called white man? No, fam. They're giving you hints.
Los nombres. César, Carlos, Manolo, Paco, Federico, Rodrigo, Felipe.
A ver, ¿quién hará de Jesucristo?
Look at this man. Why is he so dark? What was he like on a train? Was he digging for charcoal? These are hints. This book is called También la Lluvia. I mean, this movie is called También la Lluvia. Here, let me see if I can get it to you guys. It's an interesting movie. So as you can see, as the 17th century came to a close, the racial ethnicity composition of black conquistadors changed. That's why you see pictures of more people of light color. The majority of conquistadors would now be mulattoes, free and enslaved, as opposed to the earlier conquistador counterparts were Africans. These mulattoes were born in Caribbeans or Yucatan, and most were trained in Pardo militia companies. There were also free mulattoes, free blacks in militia companies. You see, in this sistema de castas, don't believe the hype that, oh, it's because we mixed. No, they were already mixing within themselves. So now we got to question that. And this is why they use these things. So these two people, right, knew, for example, now that we're getting clarity about who, like, now we're getting clarity, right? Now you understand why it says here, Revelations 2:9, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogues of Satan. Synagogues of Satan. They're saying they're the ones. They're saying they're the Jews, right? Oh my God, no. We're the real people of the Bible. Oh, Sephardic Jews are our people too, even though they had a plethora of involvement. Come on, man. A plethora of involvement with our enslavement, right? That's okay. Chapter 3, verse 9, it says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, to know that I have loved thee. That's to Philadelphia. And this is to Smyrna. So it's two different churches being told, the same thing. So clear as water, fam. Clear as water. Look, so now that you know, we need to understand that this particular thing of invasion and enslavement and captivity wasn't just by one particular nation. The majority of black slave owners were members of the mulatto class. In some cases were the sons and daughters of white slave masters. Many of the mulatto slave owners separated themselves from the masses of black people and attempted to establish a caste system based on color, wealth and free status. These mulattoes of the old free black elite did not attend church with dark-skinned blacks. And these are the guys that are giving these people a bunch of directions in regards to who they are. Because the more they confuse them, the more chances they get to stay on top. Anthony Johnson, Mary Therese Meteor, Williamson Ellison, white skin, black mask. I mean, goes on and on and on and on. When are you guys going to wake up, family? These are not the people of the book. They are not the tribe of Judah, family. They're not the tribe of Judah. You want to know why? Because I'm going to tell you something about the tribe of Judah. They would be more noble. These suckers are not noble at all. And it's very clear what the Messiah told us, okay? Whether you like to believe it or not, look at what it says here. Matthew 24:27, it says, for as the lightning cometh out of the east, right? Righteousness comes from the east, meaning the curses. Because through pain, we're going to be converted, meaning transformed into the new us. Because pain hurts, fam. So you either endure it, change, or you deal with it and suffer. And shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. And we know that they're here because we're the carcasses. We're the carcasses. So before I show you, I'm going to show you some videos. I appreciate you, bro, because I actually did want to show some of these things. I think it's important. Let me check them out real quick. Julio, let me see real quick.
You're a lesbian.
No, hold on, not that one. Yeah. So now, let me read this real quick. I want you to understand, family, that this is bitter wisdom. And bitter wisdom is going to hurt. Bitter wisdom is going to make you dislike people. Bitter wisdom is going to make you question. But it's a way to wake up. Okay? So we have to really understand that this is a test. This is a test. So let me see if I can get it. Job 31, verse 15 and 17. It says, hold on. Where are you at? I had her down. Come on, man. Give me a second. This is really making me upset now. I really wrote this down, and it's not even the right verse. Hold on. I lifted up my hands against the pillars of the gate. Germany did this broken line. I could not endure. Confidence, God, and brightness, my hand. What? It rejoiced. Okay, here it goes right here. Let me read to where it says, verse 24. If I had made gold, I'm sorry, Job 31:24. If I had made gold with hope. I'm sorry, if I had made gold my hope, or have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence. If I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because mine hand had gotten much. And if I behold the sun when it shineth, or the moon walking in brightness, and my heart had been secretly enticed, or my mouth had kissed my hand. These also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge, for I should have denied the God that is above. Check this out. If I rejoice at the destruction of him that hateth me, or lift up myself when evil found him, neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul. This is Job, a perfect man. You know, and it made me really think about this, family. It made me really think about what it means by bitter wisdom. And a brother and I were talking about unconditional. Like, why are you in this? Why are you in it? Like, are you really in it for the Most High? Or are you in it for yourself? Because we know that a lot of these converts are in it for themselves. They say they love the Most High. They say they do. But we know that they don't. Here's why. Romans 12, verse 19. Watch what it reads. It says, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. But for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will be paid, saith the Lord. Vengeance is of the Lord. Now, how do you determine when it's vengeance? When can you act on it and when you can't? Well, first of all, because let's put it this way, okay? I'm gonna show you this real quick. I'm almost done. Hold on. And my stuff is really making me upset, fam, because I don't know if it's the battery or this mouse or what. It's really like not letting me move. I don't know, man. It's really bothering me. All right, hold up. It's probably the battery. Anyways, John 8:32, and it reads, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Like people read that. Yeah, well, you know the truth. Shut up, man. Give me a second. Let me look for it. Give me a second. Hold on. Matthew 7. Watch this real quick. Matthew 7. Watch what it reads, all right? Matthew 7, verse 22. And it reads, many will say in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? Then will I profess unto them, and then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So why is he saying that? Why is he saying that? A lot of people read that and you're like, man, what's he talking about? Well, how do you know what he's going to put you away like that? Here's how you know. All right, Matthew 19. Watch what it reads. Here it goes, right here. Matthew 19:16. Thank you, Vladimir. Appreciate you, man. And behold, one came and said unto him, good master, what good thing should I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, why calleth me good? There is none good but one, that is God. And if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Right? Keep the commandments. Hold on a second. It says, keep the commandments. And he said unto him, which, Jesus, which? The Messiah said, thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. And he said unto him, false witness, honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The young man said unto him, all these things have I kept from my youth up, and lack I yet. Then it says, what it basically saying, I've done all that, so I still got more to do. And he goes, the Messiah said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasures in heaven, and come and follow me. But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. So you read that and you're like, oh, well, you see, man, it's because of the material stuff. No, you guys need to dig deeper than this. You need to dig deeper. You need to dig deeper, fam. Watch this real quick. Luke 15. All right. Luke 15. Where you at? Here it goes right here. Watch this. This is a very interesting parable. The parable of the prodigal son, it says, and he said, a certain man had two sons. And the young of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of the goods so that falleth to me. And he divided them into him, and he divided unto them his living. And many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to want. And he went and joined himself with the citizens of that country, and he sent him into his field to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk of the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. Meaning, even though nobody wanted to give him that food, right? So he watched this. So he really realizes what he's doing. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will rise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy servants. As one of thy servants. You see, family, What it comes down to is a lot of these people that claim that they know God, or they love God, or they love the Most High. They love him with conditions. You see, if you really look at their doctrine, it says that they're going to judge the nations, they're going to enslave the nations, they're going to have riches, they're going to have the white man and all these heathens under their throat, and they're going to have kingdoms, and they're going to have women and all these things. So now they're boastful about it. That's the only reason they believe. So let's say, so the only reason you want to repent is because I may give you a kingdom. You see, the young man said, but I've done all that. He said, let go of your golds. But no, I'll be poor. You see, the only reason these people do it is with conditions attached. You see, family, I'll be sincere with you. I don't give a damn about how many women we'll have in heaven, in the new world, or like in the new kingdom, or how much land we're gonna have, or how we're gonna conquer nations, and we're gonna do this. And do you want to know something? The moment I found out that God would forgive me for my sins, that's all I cared about. I didn't care for gold. I didn't care for land. I didn't care for women. I didn't care for prestige or power. I just wanted to do the right thing. And I wanted to stop sinning. That's all I cared about. And you see, with this prodigal son that he's talking about, listen, I don't even deserve to be your son, Father. Just give me a chance to come. Just forgive me, please. And see, this is why the Messiah said, yo, listen, those rich men, like it's easier for a camel to walk through a needle than you, rich man, to make it. Like, seriously. Let me see if I can find it. I think I might have been there. Come on, you see how this is acting stupid on me, family? I really don't like this. Watch. Oh, yeah. Go back to Matthew 19. That's right. Yeah. Hold on. Come on, man. Matthew 19:24. Then it says, well, let's go back. 23. It says, then Jesus said unto his disciples, verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again, I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. Why? Because you want something. You want something back. That the only reason you will repent is if you get a kingdom. Well, how boring is it just to repent? How about we just freaking repent? I don't care for riches, family. What I care about is this that has destroyed us. I'm honestly, I just ask God, please just get rid of these people, man. Just send them back to where they came from. We don't want reparations. We don't want revenges of the Lord. We just want to raise our family right. We just want to serve the Most High in the proper way. So pay attention. Pay attention to pictures. Look at this monster, man. And I don't mean it because it looks fucking, excuse me. Damn, there you go. Sorry about that. I mean, look at him. He's huge. As big as a horse. And then they got dogs? Man, you crazy. This is reality, fam. Anyhow. So now I'm going to show you the videos because I do want to say that if you're trying to tell me, see, this is where the severing begins. Start separating yourselves, family, because we are the people of the book. And there are people here in this land of ours that claims to be. But actions speak louder than words. Jubilees 9 says that by sedition, Canaan will die. And seditious children, Canaan will have. Well, let's find out what exactly it means. This is a tribe in action. They're not Hebrews. Let's go.
Tonight, 22 people are wounded and one is dead after a mass shooting in West suburban Willowbrook. New video shows the moments after the chaos in the parking lot of a strip mall near Honeysuckle Rose Lane and Route 83. People were gathered here to celebrate Juneteenth when those shots were fired around 12:30 this morning.
Take a look at this. Chicago. Chaos yesterday. Cell phone video showing groups of people jumping on random cars. Several people were shot overnight in Chicago. Young people running wild in the city. There were several videos just like this of kids just going wild. There was also a major brawl at the Chicago White Sox game in the stands. What is going on in Chicago? This is a news story happening today, reported by several news organizations in Chicago. Out of control in Chicago. I'm Dave Bonnie. I'm keeping it real.
Year, it's bigger and better, bringing people together.
I think it's the fact of us celebrating each other
Hey, listen, family, let's stop BSing, man. Let's stop BSing, okay? And call it for what it is. So, look, I'm not here to educate you guys, you heathens. Y'all are going to act how you're going to act, okay? Family, this is the time where the shaking begins. The manifestation of the Spirit has begun now. Now we're going to see who the true people of the Bible are. What is your intent? Why are you in this truth, so-called? Do you want a kingdom? Do you want land? Do you want women? Do you want money? You're in it for the wrong reasons. Because y'all have been messing up too much. You were whoremongers. You were adulterers. Shit, you might have even been pedophiles, homosexuals, drug addicts, alcoholics, woman beaters, child abusers. I'm talking about physical, not sexual. Just reckless, lazy, irresponsible, insulting to your parents, disregarding yourself. How about we just ask for repentance? This is bitter wisdom, family. This hurts, but you know what? This should make you look at your gente in a different light and see that, hey, I can see now we're not like other people. The shaking has begun. It's been for a while, I know, but it's really getting tight now. Let's go.
Inclusion and the sheer launch pad that this has become to be, with over 300 businesses on the block. This is the place during the summer where some of these businesses have their record sale day.
For the first time this year, the LA City Council declared Juneteenth a permanent paid holiday for city employees. Juneteenth, known as Freedom Day or Emancipation in America, goes back to 1865 when Major General Gordon Granger informed enslaved black people in Texas of their...
I'm showing this because we're seeing something totally different. Why the hell are y'all got to that's June 19th if you were slaves? I mean, you were slave masters. You were traders. You were settlers. I mean, shoot, man, you have black colleges. And then you have folks saying blatantly that Beyonce said that my designers, all of them were black designers. So what if a white man said, all my designers are white designers? He'd sound racist, right? Okay, let's go.
Their freedom.
Juneteenth for me is something that I've always celebrated since I was a child. My great-grandmother was born in East Texas, and, you know, she told me stories of picking cotton and, you know, just horrible people interactions, and she's the one that taught me about Juneteenth.
For a few moments later.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, this story right here about a group of young people. So without further ado, roll the clip.
What's going on? I don't know. We finna get up out of here. They at McDonald's getting knocked. Not me. I goes home. I don't think they coming. All right. Look at him. He's showed up here. No cars coming here, right? They got permission.
I finally made it home from Leimert Park.
Wow. I mean, just wow. I mean, I can't even put. Hey, how come they don't show this on CNN? Why aren't BLM marching and saying we shouldn't do that? Where are your parents at? You see, we always get these statements that we're murderers and drug dealers and that's all we are, right? That we that's how we come. This is the reality of who they are. I'm gonna read this to you guys. I got another video and then we're gonna call it a day. Give me a second. Where are you at? Give me a second. I'm gonna read Jubilees real quick for y'all. Let's go to right here. Where are you? Where the hell is it? No, give me a second. I think it's right here. It's showing how the lines were divided, right? Then next. Next. There it goes. It says here, this is chapter 10, verse 28. And Ham and his sons went into the land which was to occupy, which he acquired in his portion in the land of the south. And Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river Egypt, that it was very good. And he went not into the land of his inheritance to the west, that is West Africa, the sea. And he dwelt in the land of Lebanon, eastward, westward, from the borders of Jordan and from the borders of the sea. And Ham, his father, Cush, and Mizraim, his brothers, said unto him, Thou hast settled in the land which is not thine, and which did not fall by us, that is not to us by lot, nor to do not do so, for thou doest do so, and thou and thy sons will fall in the land and be accursed through sedition. And by sedition ye have settled, and by sedition will thy children fall, and thou shalt be rooted out forever. Meaning that seditious spirit. So what does sedition mean? Sedition, definition. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against authority or state or monarch. Troublemaking, provocation, rebelling, revolt, insurrection, rioting, insurgency, disobedience, resistance. How much more explanations y'all need? What exactly is it going to help you wrap your minds around the fact that these are not the same people as us? Stop playing these stupid games with that damn 12 chart, man. All of this is confusing you. And it's putting you in an anger towards a particular people that really aren't the only ones that deserve it. That's what I'm trying to say with you guys. You see, how come you guys are so good at calling a white man all this and that? But yet I'm showing you things that black people have done, and you guys shut up. You don't say nothing. Why is that different? Huh? It's okay. And then all of a sudden, because the slavery that the Anglo did, that's called manifest destiny. This towards us, the slavery that they did towards the so-called black Africans, that's a curse of Deuteronomy 28. Why? You see, sedition, incitement any action, especially in speech or writing, promoting such discontent or rebellion, rebellious disorder by sedition and through sedition, and your root will be rooted out. Will be rooted out. Look, I got, listen, now you guys, hey, listen, I'm gonna tell them, hey, babe, mommy, if you have my kids right now watching, please don't show them this. If you guys have children right now, I would say, please leave the room, because I'm gonna show you something. We are in Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? We are in the age of prostitution and whoring out, okay? That's just a fact. And this nation of people, these two nations that are doing this, they're doing it at the same time. Psychological warfare. They're enticing you. Two people, these two nations are in power of the media and are also the actors of the media. You know who I'm talking about. That book I'm going to bring out, which I showed y'all, there's a lot of in there. There's a lot in there. Listen. I don't recommend to give this person any clout or any flavor, nothing. But I'm gonna show you something so disgusting. I need you to pay attention to the words here. Okay, so if you guys have children, yeah, man, for sure. If you guys have children, please don't have them listen to this, okay? This is disgusting as it gets. And I don't give a damn what Willie Lynch book you use. Oh, it's because our people are destroyed. Listen, we went through slavery too, suckers. You don't see us doing this. Two nation of people, two nations with two heads. We already know that many so-called Jews finance the slave trade. And now we see that many Africans help them. Let's go. Let the kids out, please.
Take heat, fuck these niggas up.
Listen to the words.
I'm out of town, thuggin' with my round. My coochie pink, my booty hole brown. Where the niggas? I'm looking for the hoes. Quit playing nigga, cause suck a bitch soul. Pound town, just left Pound town. Let my nigga, he just took a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga dick a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga eat me out. Pound town, just left Pound town. Let my nigga, he just took a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga dick a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga eat me out. I'm out here in Miami, looking for the hoochie daddy. Where they at? Where the niggas that get ratchet? Where they at? My son need a new pappy. Too many bitches, where the niggas at? I'm tryna get my coochie scratched. Yeah. I'm tryna get my coochie stretched. Yeah. You know them dreadheads do it the best. Oh yeah. I like a nigga with a check. All my niggas give me neck. You know I'm sexy, I'm the best. I'm the shit, little bitch, I'm that. You know I can't say his name, cause he be cheap. I love you, baby. Yeah. And I'm the reason. Niggas love a bad bitch. Yeah, yeah. What Suki say, nut on my tits. Sexy. Pound town, just left Pound town. Let my nigga, he just took a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga dick a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga eat me out. Pound town, just left Pound town. Let my nigga, he just took a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga dick a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga eat me out.
They're making this woman famous. Matter of fact, I guess Nicki Minaj jumped in this. Oh, family, man. I'm so thankful that we get a chance to repent. You know. Let me see. What's that? Never mind, bro. But holistically, Africans are exposed by. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what the whole point is, man. They're exposing themselves by their own actions. Let's go to Hebrews real quick, and then we're going to finish it. This is my point, fam. So even though we're learning a lot of these things in our history and all that, we still got to work within our spirit. This is a balance, family. This is a balance. Watch this. Hebrews 12:12. Watch what it says. It says, as a matter of fact, I'll read it in a little easier translation. It says, lift up your tired hand then and straighten your trembling knees. Keep walking on straight paths so that the lame foot may not be disabled, but instead be healed. So allow your time to heal itself. Don't ignore the things that you have within you that you haven't fixed. Don't ignore that lame foot, so to speak. Instead, keep walking and examine yourself. It says, try to be at peace with everyone. It says, try, because it's hard. And try to live a holy life, because no one will see the Lord without it. The peace within you. Guard against turning back from the grace of God. Let no one become like a bitter plant. Let's listen to this. Let no one become like a bitter plant that grows up and causes many troubles with its poison. So the bitterness that I teach you isn't to brute you with bitterness, like to affect your spirit. It's to strengthen our bond. It's to show you that I love you, brothers. I love you, sisters. I pain to see this. So by me keeping the laws, by me honoring the commandments, I hope that you do them too. And together we grow. So when you keep them, I keep them. You don't think that I'm going to rob you or hurt you or kill you or take advantage of you. It says here, guard against his turning away from the grace of God. Let no one become like a bitter plant that grows up and causes many troubles with its poison. That's why it says, let no one become immoral or unspiritual like Esau, who for a single meal sold his right as his oldest son, because it didn't matter to him, because he was all stressed out. I'm hungry. I don't care. It don't matter to me. You see, that's what I'm saying. I'm the first child. It's going to come to me no matter what. And that's the attitude you don't want to have. Oh, I'm a Hebrew. That happened to us. I know who you are now. You're my enemy. F you. Feel my feet. Nah, bro. Afterwards, he wanted to receive his father's blessing, but he was turned back because he could not find any way to change what he had done. Even though in tears he looked for it, because he looked for it. Don't want to be that guy. Any bitterness, whatever I teach you, absorb it, chew on it. Understand that it's our fault, no one else's. Our fault, no one else's. I wanted to show you this real quick because whenever people read this scripture whenever people read this scripture, right? You go to like these chapters here, 51. They will eat your livestock, Deuteronomy 28:51, right? They will eat your livestock, your crops. You will starve to death. They will not leave you a grain, wine, olive oil, cattle, or sheep, or you will die, right? So it says here, they will attack every town in the land that the Lord your God has given you, and the high and fortified walls in which you trust will fall. When your enemies are besieging your towns, you will become so desperate for food that you will even eat the children that the Lord God has given you. And that did happen, family. And the most refined man of the noble birth will become so desperate during the siege that he will eat some of his own children because he has no other food. He will not even give any to his brother to eat, to the wife he loves, or to any of his children who are left. We have pictures of this. And now that when they were feeding our children to dogs and destroying our cattle and our land, look, I don't know what I don't think I would ever do it, fam, but I've never starved like that. I never have. And I cannot imagine seeing something like this, destroying your children, bloody murder, just like that. All right, fam. So anyhow, that's all I got. I do want to say this, okay? I want to say this because a brother of mine requested it, so I want to say this before I go. Let's go ahead and do this. This is Matthew 6. I'm going to play it right now, and then I'm going to finish the video. I got something to share with you. Well, actually, just, some songs. That's it, fam. But before I leave, let me play let me do the Matthew 6. I'm going to end it with a prayer, okay? Lord willing, y'all are in the spirit. And then once I finish with the prayer, I'll put the song and I'll end it. Okay, fam? Appreciate y'all being here, man. You guys been very solid, man. A solid, people attending. And again, this is all for the reawakening. This is all to strengthen your spirit. This is not to create bitterness in your heart, family. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring us back together, man. The gathering, the bringing us back together. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. Be smart. Be smart. All right. Anyways, let me show you guys real quick. Hold up a second. Oh, shoot. All right, hold on. Here it goes. If you can have a piece of quiet. Hold on. All right, ready? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. Okay, fam. So again, appreciate y'all being here. Let me go ahead and take this off. I'm gonna play a song, and man, I had something to share with you, and I just forgot. I kind of forgot a couple of things today. I'm not sure why. Hopefully, I'm not getting too old. All right. So anyhow, here's what I got for y'all. Hopefully, you appreciate it, man. Shalom, everybody. And oh, that's what it was. So right now, family, right now, the time. Okay. We get these classes, we're learning together. Make time for your children. Spend time, quality time with them. Even if it's 10 minutes a day, 15, time it, who cares? Just when you deal with them, like see them. Spend time with your wife or your husband. Like do those things. When you're out in the world and working in society, think of you within the Most High is within you. At all times, think of our brotherhood or your sisterhoods. Think of your people always. And any bitterness, get rid of it. That's our job. That's our job. Don't wish for a kingdom because you're going to get something back. It has to be unconditional love. If all you care about is repentance, stick with that. Because if you have any other interest, the Most High is going to say, I did not know you because you had other interest. You weren't interested in repenting. All right, so let's go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh, respect and love from the world, nigga. Show them. You nigga on a microphone. Can't I sit in number 15? Rock you on the studio. Bomba, claro. ¿De qué manera sufre el alma cuando alguien se va? No hay medicina que cure esa larga enfermedad. La vitamina de la vida en esta sociedad es tan divina que por nombre tiene libertad. Libérate de la mentira que está por llegar. Mide tu orgullo antes de empezar a hablar. Cierra la puerta a quien no merezca entrar, porque hay mucho que se fue y sueña con regresar. Hablemos en silencio y así no me mentirás. El poder de la palabra muere cuando hablan de más. No me fío de oraciones que se dicen por detrás. Si me miras a los ojos no te mentiré jamás. Que besar por besar es jugar por jugar. Y vivir sin amor es vivir sin amar. Solo solo queda la fe, solo queda soñar. Ponte de pie, ready para luchar. Some love, I can just smoke and there are some love them. I can just smoke and there are some love. I remember no fire, no burn. Ribby there. Cali with a mama soul, yeah. ¿De cuánto tiempo hablamos cuando hablamos de querer? Si la mitad lo malgastamos solo en comprender. ¿De qué manera es más fácil aprender? Que nacemos para ganar y morimos al perder. No puedo dejar de animarte, que cuando te caigas debes levantarte. Llegué para contarte que no todo artista muere por su arte. Traigo el honor de un humano con valor que utiliza poesía para respirar mejor. Escribo prosa para vengar al amor y recuerda aquella rosa que tiraron al contenedor. ¿Dónde se quedó el amor? Hey, que no vaya sitio, no microphone forever, never. Tell me, roll some love, I can just smoke and the light, some love them. I Rastafari my life, some love. I remember no fire, no burn, ribby day. I live with a farmer soul, yeah. Reggae man a farmer warrior day. Much I really think. Yeah, man. Y se piensa que la música es un juego, lo lleva claro, hermano. Desde España, internacional, bomba, clack, you, nego. Not really easy. No. Pure nigga on the microphone. Hey, tell us what. Tell us anything. Tell if I'm a Rasta, feeling on my sin. Hey, more love.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.